At the end of the day, you got two audiences. You've got real
Yes.
people, hopefully that become customers, and then you have bots that are trying to understand what is this listing. Is it an iPhone case or is it a microphone? For the best optimization, should I use keyword phrases throughout the title, description, bullets, and A plus content? And is it equally effective by using single keywords from these phrases?
Amazon, for the most part, just cares that you have certain keywords in your listing. So to answer the question, single keywords is really all that matters, except for your long tail high intent customer. You want to speak to them with those phrases.
Hmm.
At Jungle Scout, we sell a product on Amazon and we document the entire series on YouTube. They're washable pee pads for dogs. It's like a really good example because there's two types of dog pads on Amazon. There's these washable ones that are reusable, and then there's disposable pee pads, and they're way cheaper, and they come in like 100, 200 pack, where ours come in a 3 pack. If we didn't put washable or reusable in that very front, and that's one of our highest search keywords, it has like over 100 or 300, I can't remember the exact number, monthly searches for it. We need to put that exact phrase in the beginning. So we've identified some high intent, really long tail keywords that are important for us to put in our title, important for us to put really all throughout the listing. Hopefully that helps answer your questions, is to identify the long tail high intent keywords and use that phrase. But then for all the other keywords, you can kind of have them scattered out as long as they make sense and they're readable.
At the end of the day, you got two audiences. You've got real
Yes.
people, hopefully that become customers, and then you have bots that are trying to understand what is this listing. Is it an iPhone case or is it a microphone? That's trying to decide that. And I like what you said about the
Exactly.
high intent keywords, because oftentimes we talk a lot about like, oh, there's this big keyword and it's got lots of searches. And if I just go after this keyword, I'm going to be
Yeah.
sitting on a beach with a laptop and living the laptop lifestyle. But the reality is, oftentimes, especially with newer products, you got to start out with those more high intent keywords, because otherwise, if you're going after the shorter phrases, you might have a competitor with 10,000 reviews. And if you have 100, it's going to be harder for you to get those higher placements just
Mm.
because of the click-through rate.
One of my favorite actually like little hacks for figuring out what keywords, long tail phrases you should have in your title and really at the beginning of your title. Like type in your that keyword on Amazon, look at
Mhm.
it from the mobile search, like on the app, and then look at it on your
Mm.
desktop and see where it cuts off, like your title cuts off. Images are going to be where the eye naturally goes to first, but then if there's any confusion or just before they click, a lot of shoppers will glance to the title real quick. And if your long tail keyword isn't in there, they may just kind of glance over your product. And so I like to do that on the mobile version as well as the desktop version. And then what you want to do as well is see what products are on the page. And so if you're typing in, Kevin, to your point, competition is going to be fierce, and especially in the beginning, launching a new product. If you type in, let me go back to the example, washable pee pads for dogs, and
Mhm.
you're seeing products that are like $20 below you, they have thousands of reviews, which surely they will. And then use a different phrase, like maybe it's reusable pee pads for dogs, and you
Mm.
see a little less competition there or more products similar to your price range, I would prioritize that keyword. So there's like a fine juggling act between like high search volume, relativity, and then competition as well.
But you mentioned looking it up not
Mhm.
just in one place, but desktop and mobile, because it's going to cut off differently. And so that way you can see
Yeah.
how it cuts off. It's a good one. All right. So Roy Schwan also asks, for backend keywords, is this where you can use broad keywords or other category keywords that can relate to my product? Example, if selling tumblers, can I use baby stroller handle organizer? What do you prioritize in the back end is really probably what he's asking here.
Good. That's an interesting example because I feel like where maybe Royce you're coming from is like, people use the tumblers and they put it in their baby stroller handle. I would avoid that. I essentially use back in keywords as I'm only talking to Amazon, obviously, but it's what else could I not include in my listing that makes sense? And so like what we do on the back end of ours is people don't type in PP pads, for example, right? There's some weird search volume for it though. Like there's like a couple hundred people that type in dog pee pads, but most people don't use that. So it didn't make sense to really add it in our listing. That's something that we kind of add to the back end. And there's a lot of
Mm.
examples like that where some people may say it that way. And a very popular example, Stephen Pope is like, I think famous for it, is using Spanglish or Spanish words that
Oh yeah.
do have search volume. So yeah, I guess maybe the way I like to think about it to summarize that is what could I not include in my listing because it didn't make sense search volume wise that some people will say, and it's also going to help Amazon, yeah, categorize my product in more diverse ways.
That's a good point. Whether it's misspellings or Spanish
Yeah.
or just another way of saying it that might be kind of awkward to put in the title, but
Yeah.
is still high intent. Muhammad asks, Kevin, can you please crack your best launching strategy in this event? I'm going to let Jake talk about that.
There's two approaches, and I will say the approach that I've been going with lately. The two approaches are waiting until you're retail ready. It's a popular phrase, and especially in like the agency world where you're working with brands, is you want to wait until your listing is retail ready, which means typically it has at least 5 to 10 reviews that you would
Mm,
have gotten from Amazon Vine. At that point, obviously you need your listing. I'm assuming like your listing is kind of good. You have at least one video, obviously good content and keywords, A+ content as well. So there's that route. Wait until your listing is retail ready, or there's getting your listing retail ready with ads. And that second approach is how I've been launching lately and wasting no time because Amazon fees, specifically the storage fees, they add
mm,
up. And so if you are
quickly.
waiting for, Vine reviews to come in, that could take months. Last time I actually used Amazon Vine, I only did about like requested like 40 or 50. And it maybe took like they all didn't come in, but it took like 3 or 4 months to get even half of that amount. And it just took way
Mm,
too long. And so, yeah, how I would launch is to think of my advertising as an investment and to run ads. Don't look at the ACOS. You got to be careful with how much you're willing to lose in that sense. We always talk about ads being in the early stage an investment and consider how much you have to lose. Ideally, you won't lose that much or you'll break even with your ads. But specifically, maybe drilling down into my exact approach is I'm a big fan, and I'll say it all the time, is of a one-to-one campaign format. And I'm sure there's a lot of variations of this or iterations, but how I think about it is if I'm launching one product, for example, there's only going to be one targeting type per campaign. And so I have this one product, and let's call it an auto campaign. But within auto campaigns, you have four targeting types. You have close match, loose match, which are targeting keywords. And then you have complements and substitutes, which are targeting
mhm,
products on the product detail page. I will launch basically four campaigns, turn off on each of those three, and only enable one targeting type. And I'll just name it, like ASIN or SPA.A, sponsored product automatic. I'll name it close match and then my ASIN at the end. And I'll do the same thing for all the different targeting types. Same thing with manual campaigns. I would have exact match keywords in one campaign. And even within those, it might sound a lot, but I think it's truly worth it. In one campaign, I might target only one search intent. And so going back to the pee pads, some of that types
mm,
in washable pee pads for dogs. I might have that campaign literally only have one keyword or just a bunch of keywords that have washable pee pads in it. So washable pee pads for dogs, washable pee pads for pets, and have like maybe 10 to 20 of those in exact match. Do the same thing with a different intention. Reusable. Another one that we have is waterproof. Sometimes people just type in waterproof. And so we have the waterproof ones. And you'll just find the reason why I do this is that certain keywords, as you scale up your business, I'm always thinking about when I'm launching a product, how am I going to scale? Because you don't
mhm.
want to repeat work. A lot of people will launch a few campaigns, and then once they get to a point to where they want to scale it, they have to create new campaigns, and it takes so long to just kind of do that work. And you really are creating new campaigns, which has to collect more data and learn. I launch these really segmented campaigns, and that helps me scale. It helps me understand what keywords or intentions are less profitable and more profitable, and then I can just raise and lower. Basically, I'm producing a bunch of levers. Be really aggressive.
Yeah, definitely be aggressive. I like what you said about including the search intent kind of grouped together. Because a lot of times you hear people say, like, don't put more than 5, 10 keywords together. But
Yeah.
oftentimes, they're just first five in the spreadsheet, copy paste. Next five, copy paste. You're talking about grouping them together based on the intent, which is good.
Yeah.
So that way you can kind of see, like, oh, okay, washable is not working as well as waterproof.
They're different customers. I mean, some
Mhm.
people, yeah, type in different things, and that could be a totally different intent and stage of wanting to buy your product. And you figure that out only after segmenting campaigns.
Stop Googling your Amazon questions when you can just ask them live to us. So join us on Tuesdays for our AMA, where we bring on PPC experts, SEO experts, a variety of different experts from around the Amazon business. We're going to help you take your business to the next level. We're here to help you. So make sure you can pick our brains. Let's come hang out.